What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Simulation for the Nation, and welcome back along to Dusty Cove, where just this afternoon, we are currently getting ourselves ready to begin silage. I'm about to run over another pedestrian. My track record here is not great, so we'll slow down for those guys. There we go. We've just been to the store again. We've picked up a nice little old rake here. We are currently middle of spring. We're going to get a nice first cut silage in here. Not all of it, but we're going to start mowing it today at least. And we're going to be baling our silage. We're going to be baling it and wrapping it. So we need to get this grass knocked down. We've got some good weather ahead of us. So there is no time like the present. We'll get this underway, and then we can really kind of crack on with it. There's been a few changes to the setup, to the farm, and to the machines we have here, but we're going to run through those when we get back to the yard in just a second. But don't fear, we've got the trusty Fiat still here with us. But yeah, so there's been a few little changes there. I'm going to whiz on back over to the yard and we'll have a look-see how we're going to progress with this and what we're going to be getting ourselves into. We've been doing a lot of kind of off-camera work, for want of a better phrase. We've drilled all the spring crops we're going to be putting into the ground this year. They're all in. They've had some pre-emergent fertilizer spread on them as well, and so they're in a good position. So we're well ahead of where we should be right now, which is great because silage has crept up on us, and we really need to get a first cut off here so we can then make a second cut crop of hay. So we've got lots to do, but we're really getting into the nice, exciting part of the year, the time of the year on the farm that I do really love. So that's really exciting, really good news. So right now we've got 5 fields of silage or grass that are ready to be cut. I might leave one of those and just make a hay crop out of it. We'll see how we get on with the other 2. But we just need to we're going to park this up. We won't be using the Fiat today, but we do need to, we'll be keeping it on the rake then. We will be coming to it probably tomorrow actually, just to get a head start here. So we'll bring this around the corner, we'll park it up. We do need to finish servicing the mower. I had to wait to get some new parts for that. But they've arrived now, so we're in good position where we can actually just finish servicing the mower and then we'll crack straight on. Let's just leave this part in here for now. We haven't got a particularly big rake here, but it is in keeping with the theme on the farm. So nice one that I did find on the mod hub, I do believe. So it's not particularly wide, but it'll be perfect for what we need. So we're going to come into the workshop here. Now this is one of the changes we've made here. We have, if you recall from the first episode, we did have a spectacularly large John Deere on site. We had a John Deere 4755 that was just too big for our needs here. I wanted something a little bit smaller, and so we have a John Deere 3350. Now I must thank Nathan 6930 for sending us this. This was originally in the mod contest, but he took a hold of it and then he's made the textures a little bit more realistic, darkened the John Deere green paintwork really, so that's looking good. But we are going to be going on to the Valmet today. Just need to finish off repairing or servicing the mower. We've got all the points done, changed all the knives on the mower blade, and made sure all these gearboxes here are all looking good and working well. All we need to do is just make sure that the skirt goes back on properly, which appears to be looking good. This is an old YLO mower. I don't know where this originates from, but I found it again on ModHoster, I do believe. But it's a nice little mower, again, nice and small, but it should be great for this setup. So in addition to this little tractor and mower setup, we also have another setup on the big T-Dub. We've been out, we've cut half of field 2 already, just to kind of make sure everything was working on the other tractor and mower here. Just come back in, needed a few little adjustments on the blades there, a little bit more extra grease on some of the gearboxes, but it's all up and running now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go out and mow in tandem for the rest of the field and get that knocked down nice and quickly, because this just means that we're able to cover a lot more ground more than anything else. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to be driving the teed up, and we're going to get one of the guys to come and just drive the voucher here, or the Valmet, beg your pardon, and we'll be able to get ourselves up and running. So I'm just going to make sure everything else is okay. I need to make a few phone calls as well, because we are expecting the bale wrapper to come into stock soon down the dealership, so we might have to go and pick that up as well. But yeah, so lots to do, and I'll come back to you in just a second. Okie dokie, so we're just going to head on through into our into the silage field here. As you can see, just make sure I get through without clanging that gate post. We've got Paul driving the Valmet behind us. We've already cut down the far side there, as you can see. So we're going to aim for this slightly bigger section of the field now. We'll get this started, and then we'll be able to. We should, with the two of us going in tandem, we should get this knocked down pretty quickly. So I'm going to make sure Paul's all set up in the with the new mower on the back there. He's not too sure on that one, so I just have to make sure it's all up and working for him, and we'll get this started. Okay, so just like that, we are away, and we're doing alright here. Paul's got himself set up there, he's feeling a little bit more comfortable. He likes that old Valmet, and rightly so, it's a great little machine. So we're going to knock off some headlands here nice and quickly, and then this field, like I say, with the two of us going, shouldn't take too long at all. So it's nice to actually be able to get some grass knocked down in relatively quick time. And what a better tractor to do it in. So we've got two mowers on the farm here. We've never had two, like one larger mower or butterfly mowers or anything like that. They're just too big, and we don't need those on this farm. So we're more than content to go around with the two of these mowers. We've got enough tractors to do it, so we might as well. And like I say, it gets everything done very quickly, so we can't complain about that. I will probably come in and do one more pass the opposite direction just to get a bit closer to the tree line, but we've got to be a little bit careful with those trees. Other than that though, there's a nice thick early crop here for silage. We're going to be making several cuts, so we'll get the first one in nice and early, get some more top dressing put down onto the ground, just to give it a bit more of a boost after we've cut this, and then we'll get a second cut off in a few months. So as I mentioned there, we are going to be going to pick up a wrapper. I was trying to find a good second-hand wrapper I could tow behind the baler and just have an inline operation, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be very possible. So I'm trying to see if I have to buy a brand new one, which I may have to do, unfortunately. Don't really want to spend the money on that. If I can get a second-hand one, that's always more ideal. But if we can't, we can't. So we'll wait until get a few phone calls back from the dealers to see what's up. But then hopefully within a couple of days we should be good here to start baling this. We'll leave it a day to dry, and then we'll rake it up after that, roll it up into slightly larger windrows, and then we'll come straight in with the baler. And then we're just going to be stacking these in the pit. We're not going to be doing pit silage at all this year, so we'll stack these silage bales straight into the pit. So overall it's looking quite good at the moment. That side was a little bit patchy. There were some spots where it was quite thick, and others where it just, I don't know if it could have needed a little extra growing time, but it was just a little bit too thin in some spots. So we'll make sure we can counteract that with a better dose of fertilizer when we finish here. But it's certainly something we'll need to consider. Okay, so I'm just going to stop here quickly. Have a quick look outside to see how we're coming along. All's winging through here, looking nice, complete. Alright, excellent. Perfect, I'm going to have a quick chat with Paul, and then we'll come back to you in just a second here. Alright then, so everything is good. So, bit of background with Paul, the guy who's driving the Valmet behind us. He's relatively new hire to the farm, new farmhand here. Now, he recently, prior to coming over to us, was working for a local farmer who had, let's say, slightly more modern equipment. So he was driving I believe he's driving a John Deere 6930 over there, and so to say that he was used to slightly more modern comforts would be an understatement. He was remarking on how this tractor is a little less comfortable to drive around the field, but he's going to bear with it. Bless him, he's going to stick in. He enjoys driving the older machines as well. That's one of the reasons he came across to me, so we're very grateful to have him. He's a great worker, but it's just quite amusing that he's struggling with the regression of the machines, let's say. Look at these beautiful machines working in tandem. What a sight. And this T-dub really doesn't require a lot of effort to run a mower. It's kind of just ticking through really on low revs, so it's nice and easy to run this. So how are you all doing? Hope you're all very well. Thanks for the great feedback for the beginning of this series. That's really pleasing to hear it's being received very well. It does mean that we're going to be continuing with this as planned, really, which is great news. At the moment, we're going to be doing at least maybe once a week, perhaps twice a week, depending upon how we can squeeze it in. I am looking to bring out a schedule in the next few days, just to kind of cement the future content and output from the channel, just to give you guys a kind of clear understanding of where we're going to be producing and what we're going to be producing. So do keep an eye out for that. But yeah, it's great to hear that this kind of series is being received very well, and it's not all about like the bigger, newer, shinier machines, which are great, and you know we will be coming onto those a bit more in depth again in a different map further down the line. But it is nice to kind of pay a little bit of a homage to the past, really. And it brings me extra enjoyment when I know that these machines are all machines that I've driven at some point on our old farm, so it's nice to be able to reenact that, really. So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to take one more pass, so 2 headlands off, so we'll have 6, and then I'll come around and just do one go in the opposite direction to give us 7 overall. And that should give us plenty of turning space. And then we'll start doing the lengths, and it really shouldn't take too long with the 2 machines going side by side here. Just wing it around this corner. Nice and done. Okay, onwards. Sorry about that. There, we may have had a little bit of a dip in frame rate and video quality there, just because I didn't have my machine plugged in. But we're back, and we'll get this all wrapped up nice and quickly. So what we're probably going to do now is, as we get up to the end of the headlands here, we're just going to do a quick time lapse to show us clearing up the rest of this field. So like I was mentioning, it shouldn't take us too long at all. Once we're done, we'll see how we're faring for the rest of the day. If I haven't heard back from my contact down the dealers, we'll give them a call just to see if that bale wrapper I was looking at is available. But yeah, stick around and we'll be back with you very shortly. Okie dokie everybody, we're back and we're nearly done, as you can see here. Hasn't taken us too long at all to get ourselves through. We've got this little triangle wedge to finish. These two fields always give me kind of like an odd shape to finish with, but never mind, we're getting through there. The tandems are working very well. This is nice and quick to operation to get both these mowers into the field here, so I'm very happy with that. What we're going to do is we'll finish this wedge up there. Paul can go and take his back to the varmint, back into the yard. And then I'll whiz around and do a quick headland just to finish off there. Get us a little bit closer to the hedge, really. That's what we'll be looking for. But right now, we are doing great. We're really kicking on through here. Again, somewhat of an uneven crop throughout, but we're having to make do with it. Partially because we've just... we couldn't quite apply enough fertilizer across it all. We didn't get around to covering the last bit of it, really. So that's probably led to us having quite a variable yield across the field here. But we'll get around that. Like I said, we're going to make another cut anyway, so it's not the worst thing to happen. We can definitely manage to make this work out in our favour. So right now I'm just going to so we're going to have a pull up at the end here and have a quick chat with Paul, make sure he's all done, and I'll come back to you in just a second. So Paul is all done. We are just going to whiz around the headland one more time just to finish up and get a little bit closer to the edge here, really. This one's been a bit trampled on in places, but we'll take a cut off it anyway. Can really do two cuts in some places, but we'll leave that. It gets a little bit too rocky and stony as we get close to that the track up the middle of the field here. And I've just had a phone call as well from my dealer who says that they have a couple of different options for us to go and have a look at in terms of trailed wrappers. So we're going to go and do that. We're going to have a drive down and just see what they can take. We might take a tractor down just to see if we can agree a deal to pick one of those up today, because that's the last thing that's really going to be stopping us with in terms of progressing with our harvest. So we do need to figure that out. Unfortunately, we might have to buy a new one. I'm not particularly happy about that, but this is where we're going to have to go, I think. There's going to be a few twigs and sticks in around these trees here, I'm sure. That was actually a nice old little farmhouse there. That was originally, years ago, that was the original farmhouse and small buildings for this kind of few fields around this area. The farms were a lot smaller back then, and so that was one of the original homes. It's in the building itself is in reasonable condition. It could do with a little bit of renovation, but it is something we're thinking about doing. Maybe turn into like a holiday home or a holiday cottage, something like that. But we need to figure that out. It's going to require quite a significant investment to get it up to scratch. There's no amenities in there at the moment. There's no water, there's no electricity or anything, no windows even. So it's going to take a little bit of work, but it's something we're looking into and kind of discussing as a farming business if it's possible. Okay, so this is going to keep us nicely away from the trees there. We've finally been able to get these two mowers up to scratch as well. They've had a bit of a run through now, so they're running quite hot and true. The blades are all sufficiently sharp enough, so it's making a nice clean cut. There's not leaving any rough cuts on the grass there. And they're kind of singing. Everything's working very well in them, so we're looking very good. It would be nice now just to be able to continue and knock down the rest of these fields, and we'll be able to get everything kind of baled up and hit in one go there, which would be very pleasing. Alright, so up we go. Let's just turn you off, let these discs spin off a little bit. And fold you up. There we go. So what I think I'm going to go and do, Paul's has left his varmint there, we'll probably just spin this straight into here. Good enough place as any for now, and then we're going to take the John Deere and we're going to head on down to the store. Anything on the front there? No, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to head on back down to the store, we'll see what we can do, and I'll catch you when we get down there. Okie dokie, we're just going to park right in front of the office here. Let them know we're here. Well, there doesn't seem to be that many people around. It's all looking very quiet. That's suspicious, never mind. Let's see what we can find. So these are our two wrappers that he has down here available for us. We've got one that is a McHale, the HS2000, and we have the other one which is an Ursus. An Ursus Z586. From the outset here, they're both very similar in the sense that they work as the trail behind mower as well, or wrapper, as well as being able to work on the back of a tractor. Can also just hook them straight onto the back of the back of the baler. Our baler does have a drawbar on the back ready and able to go. The Michaela does look slightly more heavy duty and has a slightly different mechanism for wrapping. It would appear that this table does not turn, whereas on here we have a rotational, and we have the satellite wrapping, really, is the way I describe it, or the orbital. So I am swinging towards this one, if I'm honest. If I'm going to buy a new one, I want to buy something which looks to have a bit more quality about it, and to me right now that would be the McHale. So I'm going to give this dealer of mine a ring, see where he is, and we'll see what we can get done. Alright then, so we have bought it. Just like that. We have got ourselves a wrapper. So we're going to hook on up here, and then we're going to take this back to the yard, and then we'll call it quits there for the day, I do believe. We just need to make sure we get all lined up properly. Not even close. That. Alright then. So, like I said, we're going to take this on back. Just to make sure we don't hit that trail there, plenty of space. Lift my loader back up all the way, and we are going to head back to the yard. And with that, we'll probably leave it here where we started, quite frequently. But for now, like I say, we're going to head on over. Make sure there's no cars coming. The grass has been knocked down now. It's probably going to take, like I say, another day. A day just to wilt in the field there, and then in 2 days' time we'll come in and we'll row that up as well. Once it's rowed up there, we'll be getting straight on with the baler, so it's going to be quite busy in the next few days, the next full week really. But until then, we just got to leave this grass to dry. I'm going to see if we can get some more cut down as well. But thank you very much for watching. As always today, you have all been fantastic. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button for more from me, Simulation for the Nation. Until next time though, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, but most importantly, happy farming.